I'm Damien Barrett and welcome to Access All Areas. Some surprising results with a lot of the form shown in round one being flipped on its head. Matthew Lloyd.
Damo, I thought at the start of the year there was 13 teams that could play finals. I think this is going to be one of the more even years we've ever seen.
One of the teams that won in week one but not in week two, Lordy. Let's start with them, West Coast. It wasn't a good performance against Hawthorn.
Bitterly disappointing. It was 5-1 in the grand final, Damo, in the first quarter, and it was 4-4 to 2 points yesterday. And some of those players who were poor in the grand final were poor again in the first quarter. I thought they would have come out with steam coming out of their ears, but Nat Nui failed again on the MCG. Kennedy, I didn't mind his game. He tried hard, but still 2 disposals in the first quarter. McGovern, he's a bit of a tease, I think, McGovern. He was poor again, yeah. I think he can drift in and out of the game. Yo was non-existent again, like he was on grand final day. And Jack Darling, he fought out the day okay, but again, on the road, no touches in the first quarter. He was poor.
You misread that game yesterday. You wrote in the Sunday Age yesterday that the Hawks were vulnerable and that there was blood in the water. Do you need to redress that?
Well, I think sometimes, yeah, you can look at one loss the wrong way, but I just thought for the West Coast Eagles, with no Hodge, the inspirational leader, Hill for the pace and Roughhead not playing, plus the retirements, I thought it was their chance to beat Hawthorn. If they weren't going to do it yesterday, they were never going to do it. So. Yeah. It makes you worry when they've got to play on the MCG if they get to the grand final again.
Well, Lordy, one of those players you just mentioned who had a very poor first quarter, Jack Darling, interviewed during the pre-season and referenced the drop mark in the grand final, and everyone knows what we're referring to there. It was a bad drop mark. People drop chest marks probably every week. This is Jack Darling's words. But it was just a dropped chest mark, which I'm sure we've seen in the NAB Challenge and we'll see in round one. Unfortunately for Jack Darling, that wasn't just a drop chest mark, was it? That was a momentum-changing drop chest mark in a grand final. And whatever hope the Eagles might have had at that stage evaporated at that moment.
Oh, you're spot on. I think he's one of those guys that just hates being remembered for one incident. He's trying to just get it to go away. But if you have 0 touches in a first quarter, it's hard to forget about. And one of those guys, Damo, that he was up against for a lot of the day was Josh Gibson. Yep. And to allow Josh Gibson, Damo, 17 disposals in the first quarter, it's just unforgivable. The week before, it was Shane Kirsten that Geelong said, just play on him. We don't care if you don't touch the ball. You just cannot let this man do what he does. And some of these touches, Damo, you might have got a few of those.
Well, mate, I've 17 of them. Lloydie, just explain his role for us, because his status in this game has crept up on us, hasn't it? He has won 2 best and fairest in premiership winning years, and that puts him into rarefied air, Lloydie, particularly from a Hawthorn perspective. You've got Lee Matthews and Jason Dunstall who've done that as well. And at Brisbane Lions in their great era, Simon Black and Michael Voss shared a best and fairest one year and then won one each as well. So 2 best and fairest premiership winning years, massive effort. And
still underestimated, I think, for how good he is, Damo. So I think that he's probably the most aggressive tall defender in the game, and he must be put time into, like Sam Mitchell, who got away from the Eagles yet again yesterday.
Hey, the Giants had a good win against Geelong.
It was. I think after round one, I think it was one of the more disappointing losses against Melbourne. Whether they had fat heads maybe too coming to the MCG, but I just thought all their big players played well. Mumford, he's really the heart and soul sort of inspirational leader. Scully had a great game. And what about this hit here? It's like he was attacking a sausage there, Damo.
That wasn't just like hitting a brick wall. That was a moving brick wall, Porter.
It was. And Mumford played well. I thought Tom Scully had 32 disposals. Toby Green, 34. Griffin, after a poor game, hit back really hard. So he was fantastic, and they hit back really like a good side should.
Are you pretty happy with what happened with Essendon?
Yeah, I was, Damon, because like most, I think I said in December that I didn't think they could win a game, and they've gone on to take the game away from Melbourne. I thought their speed was just phenomenal. I thought their energy in the first quarter was just more than Melbourne. And Darcy Parish, a second gamer, along with Zach Merritt, Joey Danaher. They were brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And, I just thought that what that does for the club now, Damo, I think that they've now got, maybe 4 wins in them. I think they're better than what I probably thought in a lot of their competition.
4 wins now?
I think they can get up to 4.
In some of it was like 0 to 4.
Yeah, I think so, Damo, because I think on that type of performance, they could maybe beat Brisbane. I think they could beat Carlton. They got Carlton twice, so I think they're much better than what I probably thought.
Paul Roos making the claim, Lordy, that they had big heads going into that game. That club hasn't earned the right, has it, to actually have big heads?
You're spot on. I want to get your opinion on it because is that a coach making excuses? And is he one of the coaches who makes too many over his time?
Look, I'm a big fan of Paul Roos. I reckon he may be #1 fan ticket holder. He can't say that after that game. It's round 2, Lordy. They had a good win against GWS. When I say good win, they got a win that they weren't going to get at one stage of that last quarter. But you can't be trotting out excuses about being big-headed and being tired after the game. I mean, that's up to him as coach to sort that out, surely.
And what I didn't like too was then his players have started repeating it. Jack Viney came out yesterday and said, yeah, we did get big heads. We didn't pay enough respect to Essendon. Maybe nothing has changed at Melbourne. Let's hope they can hit back this week.
Lordy, Jesse Hogan got himself out of trouble last week, quite in the first 3 quarters, had a big last quarter. Wasn't able to do that, though, on the weekend, was he? And his form now, collectively, has been pretty ordinary.
Dame, I've watched him live the last 2 weeks, and his body language has been horrific. This one was the worst on the weekend. Given away a score for Melbourne, and then watch him spray his teammates, saying, put it to the top of the square, just so demonstrative towards his teammates. And then these two, doesn't even make an effort to compete. He's getting out-bodied, like all forwards get bodied out by another opponent, but he's not even trying. He's just either having a go at umpires or having a go at his teammates, and it's that drastic that I think another week or 2 of that, and there's no alternative but to send him back to the VFL.
You just got to that stage, do you? Because this is the first time someone's really questioned his worth in the game.
Well, I think sometimes the second year in the game is always your toughest because you're watched and there's more scrutiny on you. And we're seeing a different side to Jesse where when he's challenged, he flips out. And we've seen Matthew Richardson go back to the VFL. We've seen Del Santo. We've seen Stephen Milne. Hopefully it doesn't get to that with Jesse Hogan. OK. Something we've seen before, all too often, if you're a Tigers fan, is fade-outs, Lordy, in late game situations. You've gone through the tape. You've identified some serious issues that this club needs to address once and for all. They panicked, Damien, and there was 10 bad errors from the Richmond Football Club in the last 9.5 minutes. So the first one, I'd hate these touches Cotchin gets, these short, dinky passes. I think the ball still has to move forwards. He goes backwards, so he gives up some ground. And then Rance, who's not the best kick, look at the height he puts into that kick. Allows Fasolo to spoil the ball, which then suddenly puts the Richmond defence under pressure. This one here, Lordo, Victory, this to me is the worst of the lot. That's a key forward who doesn't have the confidence in his own ability to go back, soak up some time as much as importantly as kicking the goal. We move on though. Grigg takes this mark. Damien Hardwick says it's against team rules to do what he does here and play on. Yeah, and could have taken another 30 seconds off the clock, so there's another bad error from Basher Hawley and Grigg. This one. This goes either backwards. We see the players highlighted here. Look at them all behind the ball to take another 30 seconds off the clock. You are 11 points up with 2 minutes to go. OK, he's gone down the line, but go to the boundary. He's come too close inboard there. So this is what happened. This was the result, coast to coast from Collingwood. And here, Damo, Alex Rance, he can panic under pressure, and we watch a down the ground one of this. Look at Rance. He has panicked there and given away a free kick. On the back of those previous mistakes, which are accumulating. McIntosh here doesn't kick short to Hawley, Lordo. Again, just soaks up another 10, 15 seconds at both stages. It had to be hit, that pass. And Hawley, look at Hawley's body language here, saying, what are you doing? Doesn't give it. The captain, Trent Cotchin, this is a tough one, but Miles, give that handball, maintain possession, you're out. He just slams on the boot, panic again. And you tell me here, does Townsend going up in this next bit of play as the third man up, is that the right play at that stage of the game? Brain fade. You've got to keep it in nice and tight, and he's put it into the open spaces, so another horrendous error. And then it gets down to this, Lord. You can see 16 seconds left. Take us through it. Punch the ball, Jack Revolt, punch it out of bounds, but they've all missed it. The ball gets out the back. Sean Hampson should be on Grundy. He's not. Goal. Game over. 10 of the worst errors you could ever imagine in 9 minutes. And that is the history of the Richmond Football Club and why they don't perform in big games. Okay, there's a bit of talk going on during the game too. You've got some very good inside info as to what happened between Trent Cotchin and Adam Treloar. I have, I spoke to someone from one of the clubs, and Trent has said to Adam Treloar with 5 minutes to go and 16 points up, he said, I bet you regret what you said in the pre-season. About Richmond not having as good a list as Collingwood? Yes, that's right. And this is a response to Adam Treloar. A lot can happen in 5 minutes, as we just saw, Damien. And he's just said... That's a wink and a pat of the head in a very condescending way, Lordo. And said, you spoke too soon, mate. You've spoken too soon. So, Adam... He's a confident young man and he's got a long memory and didn't need a long memory there, only needed 5 minutes, and Trent probably took it too well. He should put that one in the memory bank as well. Hey, Port Adelaide, there seems to be worries there, doesn't there? Look, got a win in week 1, but were blown away by Adelaide on the weekend. They were. They had 70 inside 50, so they played quite well, but their defensive efforts, we'll show one here. Malera just dances around Trengove, who's one of the senior players. This one, Sloan, who wants to go up and compete? No one does. And then out the back, just runs into an open goal, Jenkins. And again, down the ground vision of that. Watch the slow reaction time of Port Adelaide players. After this slow mark, look at them. They just stand there, they're reactive, they expect someone else to do it.
The turn downhill skiers, does that apply for this club?
It has to. It has to. They, 2 years ago, took the competition by storm. Maybe Ken Hinckley was ahead of the curve. The competition's caught up. And they haven't wanted to, have the blood, sweat and tears like a good side needs to.
OK, Gold Coast is going really nicely, Lloydie, and in particular, one of their players has really come of age, if you can say so, in a matter of 2 weeks. Jack Martin finally gets a crack at having a sustained run at footy, and his body seems as though finally it might be ready to do so.
Yeah, I think it just takes time for some players, and he was a young, slight body. They gave him a 5-year deal. He was the best young player in the country, so he was always going to make it, and he's just played his most complete game there on the weekend.
When Gary Adelaide, as he did 3 years ago, talks about this man as exciting him in a way that very few others have done and will do so, you know he's got talent.
Yeah, every club would have taken him, pick one in the draft. And on the flip side of that, Damo, what did you make of Fremantle on the weekend? Are you the growing concerns?
Yeah, you have to, because what they've dished up in weeks 1 and 2 is very similar to what happened in 2015 and 14. And I say that because there's no point of difference. Other clubs have moved and tinkered, and they've fallen short in past years. What they've dished up in rounds 1 and 2, even if they get it right and get on a string of wins, Lord, there needs to be some trickery, doesn't there, to what they're doing in order for them to be top 4 again.
Right. Well, one of those tricks could have been what Hale and Brink Guerra have brought to the club, and that's a different centre bounce setup. And they tried something. I think they're trying to be more aggressive in there. And Ross Lyon in his post-match said, we've got to change something. We conceded 6 goals from centre bounces, so I reckon they've probably left an opening there where they're trying to be more aggressive, maybe what Hawthorn have done in the past, and it's exposed them. So I think Ross is going to take the reins back now from those guys and try something different.
Well, I love a mature age recruit story, and there's one emerging in a very good way at the Bulldogs, isn't there? Marcus Adams. Don't know much about him. Take us through it, please.
He's from West Perth. He's 22 years of age, 196 centimetres, and built pretty strongly, and he's getting the main jobs. It's probably what's held them back in recent times, Damien. So he's from a rugby background, and he had Pavlich last week. He was in the votes this week, so you just wonder if that can be the difference to taking him from playing finals to maybe winning a final. It's going to be a long year for him in his first year of AFL, but their mix of attacking players and defensive players is fantastic. They play Hawthorn this weekend at Etihad Stadium. Are they going to be a huge show.
They're a live chance, aren't they?
Oh, more than a live chance, I think. Yeah, they're the real deal, I think, the Western Bulldogs,
We'll know on the
You
weekend.
unsure about that?
Well, we just keep writing Hawthorn off, don't we, as we touched on before, and they keep responding. Hey, Tom Hickey, going okay for St Kilda, but not on this play we're about to see here, Lauder.
You must watch the ball, not the other ruckman. He has forgotten about the ball and only looked at Roughhead. So I think the scoreboard pressure sometimes, 24-7, they weren't going well. And ruckmen aren't the smartest guys, Damien, so maybe that's an excuse there for Tom Hickey.
Now, last time you caught a train would have been about year 7 at school, and maybe not even then.
Well, you're probably right. What's going on here?
Well, we raised this because Charlie Curnow, playing his first game for the Blues, decided to use that mode of transport, Lauder. What's going on there?
Well, he hasn't got his licence, has he, anymore, after his pre-season indiscretions, or he's just decided to catch a train?
But surely his brother could help him, or someone of his teammates.
Yeah, that's a fair call.
It's an AFL football, Lauder. Hey, thanks for your time today.
Thanks, Dana.
And thank you for joining us on Access All Areas. Have a good week. We'll catch you next Monday. Goodbye.